Your secrets, if you really look at yourself, you would be speechless. What happened to being doctors and teachers? What happened to being your brother's keeper?
Hi, this is Shamel from Hell, and you're watching BandClap TV.
Activate.
Yo, this is Ludacris.
What's going on? This is Drake.
It's Tiger Young Money Zone.
It's your boy Wiz Khalifa, man.
This is Big Sean.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Kanye West. It's Jay-Z.
Yeah, this is your boy Weezy.
You're in the mix with the DJ always banging the real hip-hop. DJ
BandClap.
I'm outside of the club and he think I'm a fool. So I go to my loaded tech 9 that's off in the trunk.
You're in the mix
I don't
with the DJ always banging the real hip-hop. DJ
I never scared. I never scared. I never scared. I never scared.
So you never get the glow as the cash grows. Get a nigga whack like you get the grass mowed. I'm talking slick when I'm with the big slime, nigga. Could hit your bitch, you can never hit mine, nigga. In my DM, they electric slide, nigga. No catfishing, this is not a fish fry, nigga. Never switch sides on my dog. Catch a contact, hit your ride, go to mom. How can you come up out your face and say I ain't the hardest nigga you done never heard? I left off like a rapper's dead and bird. A verse for me is like 11 birds. It did the math, it's like $2,000 every bird. I'm on the purge, I beat the church. I kill some niggas and I walk away from it. Then I observe just how you curve and told them niggas wait for me.
I'm ready to fight, taking out my steel, killing every fuck nigga in sight. Yeah, it's fight. I knew you bitches didn't want to brawl. Big job swinging all of y'all. I'm the beast from the east with the fangs on my teeth. I murder all you bitches in the middle of the street, and I don't give a fuck if you don't like me. Straight knock your ass out in the captivity. Down south, I ride, shoot and kill, homicide. If you nothing, shout it to the day that I die. We strive on tearing heads up, and everywhere we go, we gon' tear that bitch up. We don't give a fuck about having no click. The A got my back and they ain't taking no shit. Excuse me, shouting, get the fuck out my face before we get mad and shoot up the whole place.
And I'm a grown man, find you somebody to play with. If you don't like me when you see me, better not say I choke you, not like Dre did. You better tell these days with no record. I'm a bankhead, I take your cookie. Hey, so don't make it a me or you situation. I have you on the down, I see you building patient. Like, hope for the best, but I don't think you gon' make it. Not the way he was shivering and shaking on the pavement. I tell you what, if you make it, call him grace, cause he amazing. Find out these verses when the only thing blazing. Just when you thought that I was done, I was saving the best for last. Kiss my smile like Delary. They my fault, especially just let them be. Cause I do this for present confessions and never see you.
My tongue hurt. Murder your ass with lyrics and put your face on the shirt. I'm a motherfucking rider, cause I thought y'all knew. And I ain't running for nothing, even if it's 20 of you. I think there's plenty of you that really want to shout it dead. But watch what you said, look, shout it, I'm making bread. Fuck all y'all born haters with the hatred, blood to mad. I long hang with bust, I run with G's and gas. And shout it, matter of fact, these trill G's be thugs. We ain't talking behind your back and we ain't scared to bust. I'm by myself, but being alone makes you strong.
Yo, what is poppin'? Before the video starts, I just want to let you all know that I give readings, just like the ones that you see every Monday on my channel. I give on point Orisha Tarot card readings for singles and also for couples. I also do natal chart consultations. My Everything is Everything reading is by far my bestseller. If you want to check out any of these services, please visit my website at www.bandclaptv.com. And also, when you go to that website and you scroll down, you will see a link to go to my shadow work class. In this time that we're in right now, shadow work is very, very important. Getting to know yourself, your inner child, really knowing who you are. All of these things are extremely important. And I have a very, very informative self-paced course. Shout out to Spiritual Ascension University and Melanie the Spirit Doula for allowing me to be able to give you all this very, very priceless course, if I do say so myself. So again, if you want to check these things out, go to my website, www.bandclaptv.com. All right, on with the video. All right, y'all, so we back. Welcome to another BandClap TV rant video. Man, this has been a very, very crazy few days. And it's been so long since I've done one of these, but I really got to get this. I got to get this out. I got to. Shout out to Melanie, the Spirit Doula. I checked out her live stream that she did a few days ago when she was talking about a lot of the things that's coming down the pipeline when it comes to our people, when it comes to all the different things that's going on. I remember she was talking about tapping in, making sure you know who you are, and I got to piggyback off of that with my own experience that I just went through last night and how I almost lost myself trying to search for myself outside of myself. Now, what am I talking about? So for a while now, I've been on the search for different mind-altering things that you can use in order to, quote-unquote, tap into the ethers, tap into the universe, things like that. And it just seemed like every single time I get close to getting my hands on one of these substances, it's like something happens to where either when I finally get enough money to get it, they're sold out, or it's just one of them situations where I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I almost gave up on it because I'm like, man, like maybe it's not meant for me to try these things. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about psychedelics. Yes, psychedelics. I'm not talking about cocaine. I'm not talking about Molly. I'm not talking about none of this other BS. I'm talking about psychedelics. I have been yearning to go on my first Shroom trip for so freaking long. Like, I've heard so many people's experiences going on their trips and stuff like that. Some people's had real bad trips. Some people had really good trips. Some people were able to tap into their higher selves. Some people say they were able to see their aura. All of these miraculous things. And every time I hear of, people going on their Shroom trips and stuff like that, it's always in a group with a whole bunch of other people around. And I remember Melanie was talking about also having a shaman or something like that with you as well. So me, I'm not a Taurus, but as a strong Virgo moon and ascendant, I can be very stubborn and I can really not follow the rules when it comes to certain things. And that's okay, because with SU, his whole existence is, if you're here and you represent this SU energy, you're naturally going to want to go outside the rules, go outside the box, because that's where you really discover things, when you're going outside the realm of how everyone else does things. So around my birthday, this very beautiful soul family member gave me some shrooms, and I was like, oh shit, it's about that time. I'm ready to tap in. I'm ready to go. And needless to say, those shrooms were not good. The only thing that it did for me was I kept feeling like I had to pee. I kept feeling like I had to pee. And when I would close my eyes, I would just see what looks like black smoke. And I was kind of disappointed because it was nothing like what everybody else said that their trip was. Even the people that quote unquote had a bad trip, it was way more interesting than what I went through. Except for at the very end, I was able to communicate with none other than Shock G. And around that time, I was going to come out with this video about the 6 things that Shock G told me about where you can live a regret-free life, because Shock G is a Virgo and he was very, very philosophical and he was very knowledgeable about life and about certain things. And Shock G ascended. But as you all know, around the time of my birthday, I was sick as a dog. So I didn't get a chance to do that podcast. I still might do it, but I just had so many other things in my mind or in my head. I've had so many other things that I need to put out before I get to that. But now that we're in Virgo season, it'll be a really good time to put it out because the energy will be very, very strong. So then I just got this urge to start studying how to decode, learning how to decode different symbols, learning how to create my own sigils. And at the time, I really didn't know why. I just had this inkling to learn all of these things at this time. But what I didn't know was the thing that I've been yearning for and that I've been putting out in the universe that I wanted to do was slowly and slowly getting closer to me. That moment was getting closer than I expected. So fast forward to a week ago, this person that I worked with had the plug to what they said was some very, very powerful Shroom chocolate bars. And I know all y'all Shroom connoisseurs and stuff like that knows about these chocolate bars that got this high dosage of shrooms in them. Now, this was the most money that I've ever paid for a freaking chocolate bar. So I'm like, man, this shit better give me some superpowers. I better be able to walk on water. I better be able to put my hand through the wall and be able to fly and all this other stuff. And needless to say, for the second time, that bar didn't do shit to me. Like, real talk. Again, it just made me a little sleepy. It felt more like an edible than some shrooms in a chocolate bar. And I was just so upset. So I was like, man, next time I go to work, I'm gonna tell that person that his products ain't shit because it didn't do nothing for me. So that's what I did. Now, it was just a freak coincidence that I was able to run back into him yesterday. And when I ran back into him and I told him how upset I was that nothing happened when I ate that chocolate bar, even he was upset because he was like, yo, like, I'm very serious about the things that I sell at my events and all this type of stuff. And he handed me one of the Shroom bars that he made himself. And he was like, yo, fuck all that other stuff that you've had. This right here is gonna knock you on your ass. And I was like, yes, this is what I need. This is what I want. This is what I've been waiting for so long. Subconsciously, I've been preparing myself to go on this journey to really, really tap in and know who I am and just get a deeper understanding about what's really, really going on in the world and what is my purpose in all of this. So the main thing that I wanted to do this time, because last time I went to sleep, this time I was like, I want to be able to make the most out of this trip. So I want to be creative. So before I even ate the bar, I got my keyboard out. I had Reason on so I can really, really get into the vibe. I was in my room by myself, no shaman, no nothing, because I wanted to feel the full effects of this. And I wanted to do this experiment to really, really understand not only how would someone who is a regular person vibrating on a default level, which I found out was very low, would react to this. And also, how would a soul family member who has done the work, gotten to know their inner child, how someone like that would react to this type of substance, if you will. Because all this time, I've been talking about getting to know your inner child. I'm a whole teacher now because I got a shadow work class that all of you all know about. So it's like, I wanted to put myself to the test to see if I could really, really walk the talk when it comes to this. This is something that I'm proving to myself, and whatever results that I get from this, I was going to share this with the soul family. And I wanted to be alone because I didn't want no other energies. I didn't want no other outside influences to hinder this experience. I wanted to be alone by myself, totally secluded from everything and everybody. And I felt like that's the only way that I'm truly going to be able to understand how these mind-altering substances affect you. And why is it that so many of us are so eager to partake in these mind-altering substances? So when I opened the bar up, I could tell that this dude made it, and the bar was very, very uneven. So I'm like, fuck it. I know he said only eat half the bar, but I'm like, man, I've never been the type of person to half-ass anything. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it all the way, or I'm not gonna do it at all. So I said, fuck it. I ate the whole thing, and that was a big bar too. So a few minutes went by, and I didn't really feel anything. And I started to get upset again. I'm like, man, this ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. But as the minutes and the minutes and the minutes went by, I started to feel this buzzing in my ear. It was like my ears were hypersensitive. And this is something that I've heard people say when they go on these trips and stuff, how their hearing gets hypersensitive. They're able to hear and feel the waves coming from the TV, coming from your laptop, from your microwave, from your cell phone, from your air conditioner. And I was like, oh snap, okay. So maybe this dude wasn't pulling my leg. Now, as the trip kept on going, it got to the point where I couldn't concentrate enough to make music. So I went on YouTube and I played some heart chakra meditation music, because it was like, even though I didn't have a shaman with me, it was like this higher self voice that was telling me different things that I need to do. And this higher self was comprised of all of the light, all of the knowledge that I've obtained up to this point, all of the knowledge that I've obtained in this spiritual journey that actually means something, that actually holds weight in the universe. So I'm hearing Melanie voice in my head about vibrating high and being in a space of love and stuff like that. So the first thing that I thought about was the heart chakra music. So I cut the heart chakra music on, but it was like the more and more and more this trip started to intensify, it was like that heart chakra music, it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. And I started to feel very, very agitated. So then I had this thought about getting into some water. So I went in the bathroom and cut the shower on really, really hot, to the point where it was steaming. Now, when I did this is when the effects of that bar really, really, really started to hit me real hard. And it was like I felt something come over me, and I just started laughing, just uncontrollably laughing. It's like the best way that I can explain this is that since I pride myself so much with innocence and trying my best to always be in a innocent space, high vibrational type of mindset and stuff like that, I was able to feel for the first time how holy my spirit was, the Holy Spirit. And for the first time ever, I felt the power of the holiness of my spirit. And I was just like, oh my God, I feel so powerful. This feels so powerful. And this power is so beautiful and it's amazing. And then I started to think about the state of my people, or the state of the melanated race that's so powerful and we're so amazing. I started to think about how we're so powerful and we're so amazing. Even in our ignorance, we're powerful and we're amazing. And it was to the point where I couldn't even truly be mad at the quote unquote powers that were, because in that second, I understood totally what was going on. Just like how Brother Panic was saying how melanated people, we never stop running the world. Everything that you see around you, every sport, every facet of the entertainment industry, all the things that make those endorphins in your body start to rise and stuff like that, has all been created by melanated people. And we're so powerful and we're so amazing. But I kept saying, if only we knew that we were so amazing, that alone would make you vibrate so high that you could see the tricks and the manipulation that's being played on us. And it was like, I just kept laughing and I just kept saying that over and over and over. So now, once I got out the tub, I was fully in my trip. I was like, oh shoot, this is crazy. It was like my eyes felt like the eyes of a fly. You know, in those filters when you can see the world through the eyes of a bug, and it's like all these different squares and stuff like that. That's how I looked when I look in the mirror. It was like everything was blurry. I didn't see no aura or anything like that. So as the trip continued, I'm looking at the time. I'm like, oh man, I gotta go to bed. I gotta go to bed. But this shit was so strong. No matter how much I tried to go to sleep, I could not go to sleep. And I started to get irritated because I'm like, this isn't like weed. This isn't like anything else that I've ever taken to this point. So at that time, at that point, my brain was trying to make sense out of what was going on. And since what was going on with me was so unexplainable, every time my brain tried to make sense out of what was going on, I was slowly starting to lose my mind. So I told y'all that I purchased this Aaliyah magazine, the 20th anniversary Aaliyah magazine, with her picture on the front. So I'm looking at that picture, trying to ask Akasha what's going on with me, because at this point, the more I'm trying to logically make sense of what's going on with me, and it's like my brain is just drawing blanks, the lower and lower I'm starting to vibrate. Even though I got this heart chakra music playing and it's supposed to make you vibrate high and all that type of stuff, none of this stuff was working when it got to that point. So as I'm looking into that picture of Aaliyah, I started to go into a very dark place. I started to go into a dark place, and this is a warning for anybody who feel like they want to take psychedelics or take any type of mind-altering substance other than weed. I urge you to be extremely careful, because when I went into this dark place, I felt like when Jesus died and he went to hell, and I started to see all of those symbols while looking at that picture of Aaliyah. All of those symbols that you're taught about when you first learn about the Illuminati, the triangle with the pyramid with the eye in it, the Baphomet symbol, all of these symbols that you're taught is evil. And if you start to believe that, then those symbols are going to represent what a hell type of realm will look like. And when you get into these secret societies and you're trying to be an artist, you're trying to be famous, you're trying to go to Hollywood and all of this stuff, this is what you're programmed to believe with these different symbols and stuff. So as I'm losing my mind because I'm trying to logically make sense of what's going on, my mind starts to flood with negative thoughts. And then these negative thoughts turned into beings. Now, like I told you in my last video, when I was talking about this, I was saying that since I haven't been programmed to look at demons as something scary, they look like kids' drawings in my eyes. But some of y'all out there, that may not be the case for you. So the first being that came to me was the being of maybe this was a bad idea. That was the first being that came to me. What I'm trying to say is, not only are these phrases, these words, these phrases, not only are these words spells, but these phrases are actual beings. These phrases are vibrational frequencies that can affect you if you're vibrating on a certain level. So the more I got away from my mind, or the more I got away from the mind, because I'm gonna explain that in a minute, and I started to get into my own head, which is where your mentality is, where your ego is, and all of those type of things, trying to make sense of this trip, since I knew in the back of my mind what I was told about. You're not supposed to do this without a shaman. You're not supposed to eat the whole thing. You're supposed to do this around other soul family members, all of that stuff. That thought form of maybe this was a bad idea, it started to grow stronger and stronger as I started to lose my mind. And at that moment in time, I truly started to see the manipulation and the trick that's being played on us all. I really started to realize and see that the best way I can subscribe this is there is a really thick spider web, and this spider web is over this world, and this spider web is used to trap souls by keeping them in a lower vibrating state so they can be fed off of. And I started to see things. I started to feel for the first time how it truly felt to be hopeless, because that's a demonic entity. How it truly felt to be depressed, because that's a demonic entity. And then the last one was how it truly feels to feel suicidal or to be suicidal. And it's like these beings, these demonic beings, they feed off of the negativity that you allow yourself to be exposed to, whether it's from social media, whether it's from people telling you what they feel you should or should not do or should not be, ranging from you seeing things that other people did, mistakes that they made, and how it messed them up, and then you start to project those things onto you. And it's like every time that you do this, you're feeding one of these entities. So when you start vibrating at a low enough frequency, these beings can attack you through your thoughts and through your feelings, because all of these things are what your emotions, which is energy and motion, are made of. And someone who is very emotional and can't control their emotions is someone who is mentally unstable, someone who is unstable and they're lost. I started to see images of people with the same type of curiosity to take these mind-altering substances that I had. But these people didn't truly know who they were. They wasn't connected to their inner child. They wasn't connected to their solar essence. So they took these substances and they went on a trip and they never came back. And I felt what that felt like for the first time. I felt for the first time what a mental patient in a psych ward feels. How you go off on the deep end and you start to see things that are so sinister and so crazy that you don't even want to be a functioning member in this society anymore. Like, it's so deep. My mind started to go back to when I was at the club and I'm listening to this low vibrational rap music and this low vibrational type of music, and I can see these demons, I can see these beings coming out of the music, attacking people, giving them this false sense of ego, this false sense of pride, and this false sense of hope. But it's a trick, it's manipulation used to feed these demonic entities, and it's slowly getting to that point where even if you're vibrating on a default level, you can get affected in some type of way by these demonic entities that are in these word phrases. It's very, very deep. And if your will isn't strong and you don't know who you are, you're not going to be able to come out of that dark place. The dark place that I was just visiting, just so I can experience this, so I can tell y'all. So at this point, I'm going crazy in the head because I'm still trying to logically make sense of what's going on with me. My vision is blurred. I'm tossing and turning in the bed. No type of heart chakra music is working. I don't like vibrating this low. I don't like being in that dark place, because one thing that I realized was that in this time that we're in now, these demonic entities are so strong that if you let these entities get a hold of you and they start to suck on you like a parasite, it don't matter if you're a vegan. It don't matter if you got 1,000,000 crystals around you. It don't matter if you got all the soul family in the world to tell you how much you mean to them and how much you mean to the community and all of that BS. You can get to a point in your mind, in your being, you can vibrate so low, it's like mentally and psychologically, it's like you're in a deep hole. And it's like there's people that are above the hole and they're trying to say, come on, you can do it. You can do it. You got what it takes. You got what it takes to get out. Come on, you can do it. That's what the crystals represent. That's what the body represents. That's what the soul family represents. But if you yourself don't believe that you have what it takes to get out of that dark place, it's like you can be in the most high vibrating environment and still feel fucked up and still feel low. Because at the end of the day, only you can control your mind. These things and these people can only motivate you and help you to see, but it's still you that has to do the work at the end of the day. So I'm seeing all of this stuff. I'm seeing how our people are so lost and how they're lost and the beings and the things that are making them lost. And it's so easy. It's so easy to be lost. It's so easy because we're not truly equipped to learn how to properly decode what your mind is trying to tell you. And that's by design, because the mind is powerful. The mind is amazing. But the more and more you disconnect from that mind and you lose your mind, that's when you're food for all of these demonic entities to take control over you. So I'm trying to fight it. I'm like, no, like, where's this coming from? I normally don't think like this. I normally don't feel like this. Like, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel like this? And these demonic entities that are in these word phrases, it's not aggressive. It starts off appearing to be innocent, and then it tries to reinforce itself with negative situations that you've been through, that you haven't done that shadow work to heal yourself, negative situations that you've seen other people go through, and they didn't know who they were, but you know who you are. So that result wouldn't happen to you, but you're internalizing it like it will happen to you. So it does. All of these different things are what fuel these demonic entities and make them bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like that movie about the gremlins, you know? So the last straw was when I faced the demonic entity known as suicidal. That was like the last step that you get to in this dark place when you're on this earth, when you truly feel hopeless, when you truly feel like there's nothing, no one that can help you, when you truly feel like you don't want to live no more because it's too overwhelming for you. You don't have nothing to reinforce how powerful you are and how amazing you are and how beautiful you are. So the last stop on that train in that dark place was the demon of suicide. Now, when I got approached by this particular demon, which is nothing but a thought form that has been supercharged with so much negative energy that it becomes a thing. This is the demon that attacks spiritualists and other people that dibble dabble in the dark arts, or they dibble dabble in this spiritual path, but they're really not built for it. And this demon comes to them. And this demon, if you truly don't know who you are and you're in this spiritual shit for play, this demon right here is powerful enough to make you turn back to religion. When I looked at this demon, I saw so many spiritualists. I saw so many tarot readers. I saw so many spiritual people that a lot of y'all might know, and how they started tapping into the ethers. They got to a certain point and they just said, fuck all this. I'm out. I'm going back to Christianity. I'm going back to Jesus. This spiritual shit is not what y'all think it is. I advise y'all to stop dealing with this stuff. Turn around, accept the Lord. It's like with this demon right here, I seen it. I seen Doreen Virtue. I'm not going to name no other people, but I seen so many people, so many spiritualists before me have met this demon, and this demon was powerful enough to make them turn around, denounce all the spiritual upgrades and all the spiritual enlightenment that they've been preaching on YouTube and on social media and with books and all of this stuff, make them erase their pages, make them go reclusive. I saw some of these tarot readers, some of these people, they actually committed suicide after this demon came to them because their spirit wasn't holy enough to fight it. Some of these spiritualists and some of these tarot readers and some of these people deleted all their stuff and became Christian, became Muslim, went back into a closed mind religion. And I was like, man, so this is what I was looking for. This is why so many spiritualists get to a certain threshold and then they turn around. So this demon started to talk to me in this very sly, very manipulative, very snake-like voice, like a gentle but evil hissing voice. And it was like saying all of these negative things that really wasn't true. But since I lost my mind at that point, it's easy for you to believe these things if your spirit isn't holy. So that demon was like, you gone way too far. Now you're lost. You'll never be the same again. You'll never be able to do readings no more. And this demon showed me this false image of me trying to make videos, doing my readings, trying to do my spiritual videos. And since I lost my mind, there was this block where it was like every time I try to go off the cuff and channel through spirit, there was a blockage there because I lost my mind. And this demon was like, oh, you done it now. You'll never be the same after this. Your connection is gone. You're just a regular old human like the rest of them. But I know what can make it better. I know what can make it all go away. You see that knife under your pillow? You know, why don't you just go ahead and cut yourself? You know, that always makes it better. That always makes it feel better. Just try it. Try it. You see that vein right there on your arm? Give it a little cut, you know? Now, remember, I did a whole podcast talking about the metaphysics of suicide and the different steps that you go through before you get to that point where you're actually suicidal. And that knowledge, it came from a real place. It came from a real high vibrational place. Now remember, I went into this dark place voluntarily through Akasha because I needed to truly see how these mind-altering psychedelics can do for you if you don't know who you are. But I'm in no way possible. I'm not done yet. I'm not done with my life path and what I'm supposed to do on this earth. But you know, sometimes you have to put a cloak over your light when you're in the presence of demonic entities, and sometimes you have to make them think that you don't know what's up. And it was like, at that moment, I started to get upset, and I jumped up out the bed, and I was like, I see what's happening here. I see what's happening here. Nah, you messing with the right one tonight. You messing with the right one tonight. So I jumped up, and I was like, I don't know how long this trip is about to last, but I know one thing. I'm gonna enjoy this shit. I'm gonna have fun, because you know what? I'm amazing. And I'm amazing because I'm beautiful. And I'm beautiful because I'm powerful. And that's all that matters. I don't care about nothing else, because I matter. And that's all there is to it. And it was like, as I started to say that, I could feel my energy rising up again. And I got to a level where I started to hear my higher self say the word giant steps. Listen to jazz. Listen to jazz. So I jumped up. Now, this trip is still powerful. So I can barely see the computer screen and all that type of stuff. I'm still woozy, but I was able to get on YouTube and type in John Coltrane Giant Steps album, because there was this thought that I forgot about, how I was able to use jazz music to travel through dimensions. This is how I met Dr. Delbert Blair in the spirit realm a couple days after he made his transition. So literally, the minute I pressed play and I started listening to that Giant Steps album, I was scatting along with him playing the saxophone. I even started to mimic the fingerings because I play tenor sax just like John Coltrane. It got to the point where I started to vibrate so freaking high. I felt like I transcended this dimension that we're in, and I reconnected with my mind. I reconnected with the mind, and I got back into that high vibrational Holy Spirit type of mood that I was in at first. And it was like all of a sudden I felt this overwhelming sensation of love, what true love should feel like. And this is something that Bobby Hemmett was talking about when he was saying love conquers all, and love is the most powerful frequency in this universe. And this journey that I went on last night, it truly showed me that. It was like when I closed my eyes, I could actually feel and see John Coltrane playing the saxophone. I could see the drummer that was drumming behind him. I could see the bass player. I could see the pianist playing the piano and stuff like that. And as I'm feeling this love, this warm, this beautiful sensation, all I could keep saying was, my people, we are so amazing. We're so powerful and we're so beautiful. If only we knew how amazing we really are. And I was like, fuck all that negativity, all of this negative stuff, because if don't nobody else know that they're amazing, I know I'm amazing. I know that I'm beautiful. I know that I'm amazing. I know that I'm powerful because I'm beautiful. And I'm beautiful because I'm amazing. And I'm amazing because I'm a baby. And it was like, as soon as I said that, I was like, wait a minute. This is what getting to know your inner child is all about. When you get into those dark places and you start to see those demonic entities of hopelessness, of depression, of rejection and fear and doubt, shame, guilt, all of these negative, low vibrating things. If you truly have done the work and your inner child is at a part of your being to where you can hear your inner child loud and clear, when you go through these situations, it's like your inner child turns into a sequence of powerful phrases that are very high vibrational, that if you believe in your heart of hearts, these phrases alone can make you vibrate so high that you start to connect yourself with the mind. Because at this point of my trip, all of my innermost thoughts and all of my feelings, all those things were coming up to the surface. What you call that chatter, all that was coming to the surface. So the more I started to say that phrase, I'm amazing, I'm beautiful, I matter, I'm powerful. And then I started to add a bridge word, because. So now I can turn those phrases. Remember when I told you these phrases are frequencies, and these frequencies are beings, and these beings represent what your spirit team really is. This is what your spirit team really is. It's not an actual person. It's not an actual humanoid figure. It is a frequency that derived from a phrase, or a phrase that brings about a certain frequency that affects you in a certain type of way. So the more I connect to the mind and I regain control of said mind, I started to tell myself that for what it's worth, I'm going to enjoy this trip. I'm going to enjoy this journey because I chose to go on this journey. I chose to have this trip. I understood what the ramifications were, and I got to come back and tell the Soul family this because they need to realize how amazing their mind is. It's so amazing and it's beautiful because it's powerful. And when you learn how to take control of that, amazing things will start to reflect in your reality, in your life, and just overall in your existence. This is really, really deep information. And the more I started to connect to the mind, the more I started to realize how limited this brain really is. The mind is made up of symbols, sigils, and frequencies. And we speak a language that is extremely limited, which means that just using these phrases alone, just using these words alone, you won't be able to vibrate high enough, or you won't be able to connect high enough to the mind where you can really, really start making things happen. I mean, don't get me wrong, words are powerful. It's just that this bastardized English language itself is a low vibrating language that you trying to use this English language for your spells, and you're trying to use this English language for your affirmations and things like that. It can only get you to a certain level. Through listening to that jazz, I was able to tap into the realm of Tahuti. I was able to tap into the realm of Legba, the real Legba, the Anansi, the spider. I was able to tap into the realm of Mayat and Sechet. I saw their sigils. I saw how powerful these Vebes can really be, because these Vebes are a language that the mind knows how to interpret. It was like once I connected to the mind that is of the all, I was able to truly understand why I needed to go on this trip the way I did it, because I needed to realize how powerful I really am. How powerful I am because I'm connected to the mind, which is the most powerful thing that you as a human has a connection to. The mind, again, that is comprised of symbols, vibrations, and frequencies. Very, very high frequencies. That's why if you're a spiritualist, or if you're tapping into some real deep information and then your ears start ringing and all of that, that's because you're tapping in to the mind. And the longer you're tapped into that mind, the more you're able to truly understand the trick and the manipulation that's being played. There's no such thing as mind control. The mind can't be controlled by nobody else but you. The only thing that these system of soulless beings can do, they can inflate your ego to the point where you start to dirty up your universe, which is mental. You start to dirty up your mentality, your mental state. And the more gibberish, the more BS that you allow to permeate in your mental state, the more you start to lose your mind. Think about it. Think about when you're talking to somebody and y'all are having a conversation, and it's like you're trying your best to listen and pay attention to what the other person is saying, but it's like they're speaking all this gibberish. What do you tell that person? You're like, yo, slow down. You're losing me. You see how the word lose and the word loose can mean so many different things. And again, this is why I say this language, this English language, is so limited, and it can be so very complicated because you're only taught how to use these numbers and letters and stuff like that so you can be a help to this society, to this matrix. You're not taught how to use these numbers and these letters. You're not taught the magical properties of these things. The more I connected to my mind, or the more I connected to the mind, and I really started to look at the brain for what it really is, you truly see how minuscule it is. This brain is nothing but a computer. It is a computer. And there are a lot of different things that you can unlock in your brain if you have certain things to stimulate it. Like, let's just say, for example, the calculator. Like I said, your brain is like a calculator. And this is a Dolo the Pilot Man example. The mind can give you a group of symbols. A symbol of a 1, a plus sign, a 1, an equal sign, and a 3. Now, if you're trying to look at this logically, the way you were taught how to calculate this, you would say that this is wrong. Why? Because it doesn't make sense. What I'm trying to say is, for the most part, your logic has been taught to you by different experiences that you went through, good or bad, through the schooling that you've had, through the different books that you've read, the different things that you've probably seen on YouTube, and all of these things. All of this shape your logic, and your logic is what shapes your mentality, and your mentality is what shapes your universe. That's what that saying mean when it says the universe, which is the one verse, is mental. So your mentality that you bring into the world is similar to a verse that is a part of a bigger song. So the mind is all. The mind represents the all. The mind represents the song. And what is the song? The song represents the Akashic records. The Akashic records are accessed through the mind. And we as soul family members, we all have a verse that we are here to complete. We all have a verse that we're supposed to add to this song. And this verse is comprised of the knowledge that you learned, and how that knowledge shaped your logic, and how that logic shaped your mentality, and how that mentality shaped your verse, your universe. So going back to my example, our biggest issue is the knowledge that we're learning on a daily basis is not high vibrational enough to decode these symbols that the mind is showing you every day. The only way you can truly understand the mind is through occultism, metaphysics, and deep meditation, because your mind, or the mind, is always putting signs, symbols, sigils in front of you. But if you don't know how to decode what these symbols are, this is what gets you into mindless behavior, mindless trouble. And then the first thing that you say when you get into this trouble is, man, something told me, I felt something tell me not to do this, or I just had an inkling, or I had a feeling that this thing or whatever it is that I wasn't supposed to do, that I wasn't supposed to do it. So remember about Isis, how she's able to use words of power to not only share knowledge, but also to raise the dead. So now this is what brings me to these deities and these Loa and these Orishas and all of these spiritual system that deals with deity pantheons. You got to realize that these were all created in the same type of way, with the same type of purpose, to connect you with the mind. In the beginning, in the Bible, it says, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. This is something that my pastor used to talk about all the time, and I never truly understood it until now. When creating a deity, and this is for my soul family, in the beginning, it all started with a symbol. That's what a word is, a symbol. And that symbol, depending on how much energy you put into that symbol, you can raise the vibration of that symbol to be whatever you want it to be. So when these shamans and these holy men will look upon their people and see how lost they are because they're not connected to their mind, they start to create these symbols, aka veves, aka hieroglyphics. And these symbols are with you every day. Everywhere you go, you see these symbols. These symbols are with the gods, but the symbol itself is a being as well, because the intentions that you put into that symbol, when you speak words of power and thoughts and feelings of power, and you put all of that into that symbol, now that symbol has been given life. So I take this veve and I create it, and I call this veve Papa Legba. So now the symbol becomes a word or a name. The word was God. That's what you call the symbol. That's what the symbol was called, God. Or in this example, the symbol is called, or the veve is called, Papa Legba. So now you have the frequency, you got the symbol, and you got the name of the symbol. And God said, let there be light. And then he saw the light and that it was good. What does that mean? So now, what does this symbol, this high vibrating symbol, and this word that's associated with this symbol, the name that's associated with these words and that's associated with this symbol, what is this symbol supposed to do for you? Well, we know that Papa Legba opens up the roads, and he leads you to the road that you need to be on to achieve what it is that you wish to achieve. So now, when you call out the word Papa Legba or the name Papa Legba, and then you put this veve on some paper or you draw it out or whatever, since you understand the mechanics behind the symbol, because you understand how to decode, you're not trying to make sense out of it with your logic, because that's when you fall into lostness. You're just understanding that you're powerful and that you're amazing and you're beautiful. And when you know that, you understand that whatever you create in this frequency, whatever symbol or sigil that you create in that frequency, it has to do whatever it is that you set it out to do. So now it gets to the point in Genesis where God is starting to create things in the earth. And it took him 7 days or 6 days to create. And then the seventh day, God rested. So what does that mean? Well, we understand that all of us aren't going to be vibrating in that high of a frequency to where you can just understand that it is what it is and it's going to be what it's going to be, because I'm amazing and I'm powerful and I'm beautiful, you know? So now we got to give Papa Legba a backstory, if you will, a group of principles and a group of parables and stuff like that, so that the average devotee would be able to connect using their brain and their thoughts and their feelings, which will eventually, through a process, still get the effects of that symbol, aka that veve that was made by this powerful shaman spiritualist person. Now, with this road, it may take a little bit longer, aka the earth wasn't made in a day, but the symbol and the attention behind that symbol was created in an instant. So that's the cheat code. And what this is doing when you're a devotee and you're learning about these veves in the form of the religious aspect of it, it's so you can believe. And when you believe something, you turn off your logic. Now, this can be good and it can be bad, because since you yourself didn't create this sigil and you yourself didn't create this symbol, and if you don't learn to have a personalized relationship with this symbol and with this sigil to the point where you start to alter this symbol and this sigil so it can be personalized for you, when you're trying to create a spell or you're trying to create some type of ritual using this symbol, everything, the good and the bad that was used intention wise to create that symbol and sigil, all of that is going to be put off into your spell and your ritual. And this is how my inner child showed me how amazing I am and how powerful I am and how it's so beautiful. Because, for example, I didn't create the word Eshu. The word Eshu was already here before I was even born. And whoever it was before me that created this word Eshu, they already created a bunch of stories, a bunch of attributes, a bunch of backstories, good and bad, involving this word Eshu. And because of what these shaman spiritual men or women created, as far as with the intention that they put into that word, all the things that they put around that word, a lot of people look at Eshu as something evil because of what they've been taught that this word means. But me having my own access to my mind, my own access to who I am and all of that type of stuff, I took that word and I revamped it and I put my own twist to it, and I said the Bebu Eshu, which is my own personal relationship, my own personal rendition of this symbol that I use to identify myself with my inner child. So now my inner child can come through this symbol and this sigil that I created for myself. And in my mind, when I hear myself say the baby Eshu, the Bebu, since I had so much high vibrational intentions behind that, just me saying that word alone, or just me inputting that symbol alone, brings me to a certain frequency where I can connect to the mind. So then God said, let there be light. So now, in order for me to be able to use this symbol of Eshu to keep me at a certain high vibrational frequency, despite what everyone else may perceive of that word, now I have to give the Bebu Eshu a voice. And this is something that I'm so thankful for my mom, because she always be talking like a baby and stuff ever since I was little, and she still does now. So in my universe that I created with my mentality that was created from the logic of me learning how to decode these symbols and these sigils and things like that, breaking things down to its lowest component, when the Bebu Eshu speaks, it sounds like,
hello, so I'm Bebu, and I'll be doing up, so if you want to do W, and then you be Bebu too, and then you be Bebu too, because I'm Bebu, and if I'm Bebu, and then and then you be able to. Because we be able to.
So now, at this point, I've created my own special, personalized entity that whatever I'm going through, whatever types of problems I may have, or whatever types of things that I'm going through in my life, or whatever types of things that I may face, and I just need some motivation, and I'm alone, and I don't got no one else to call on, I don't got nobody to talk to. Instead of going on the deep end, feeling hopeless, and feeling like you don't matter, and feeling like that you ain't shit, every time I look deep within myself and I hear that inner child voice, it just automatically puts a smile on your face. It just automatically puts a smile on my face. It makes me start giggling. It makes me start laughing. It makes me think about innocence. It makes me think about a little baby jumping around and clapping and dancing and running around in the forest without a care in the world. Not caring about the lions and the tigers and the bears, because at the end of the day, even the lions and tigers and bears have to bow down to innocence, because innocence is beautiful and it's amazing and it's powerful. And we all have that within us. And you don't need nothing outside of yourself to realize that. It's just that, just like the Native Americans, and just like how we do in this society right now, creating these mindless things that only keep you vibrating at a lower state. We all, no matter what type of gifts and talents that you feel like that you may or may not possess, we all have the power to create our own entities and to create our own universe where these entities can't do nothing but bring all the prosperity, all the abundance, all of the things that you may need in this world. You can create them as long as you got that connection to the mind, because the mind is all, but it is only the universe that is mental. And me knowing who I am, me having that connection to my inner child, me having that connection to my spirit team, which is nothing but a high vibrational amalgamation of empowering phrases. That's all the spirit team really is. And just like I said, the only way that your spirit team can connect with you is that you got to vibrate high. AKA, the only way these high vibrational phrases can affect you in a positive way is that you have to already believe in your heart of hearts that you are these things, that you are amazing, and you are beautiful, and you're powerful, and you matter. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. Nothing else. None of this other negative BS that you see and that you hear, that you allow in the windows of your soul, none of that matters. Be careful, y'all. Be careful with the intake of negativity that you allow in your windows of the soul. Even if you feel like you're just looking at it for shits and giggles, even if you feel like it's not affecting you, because we're all gonna reach that point where we feel like we're alone. And when you're truly alone and all you got is your light and all you got are those spiritual teachings and those spiritual things that you've projected out to everybody else, if those things were just something that you did because of your ego and you don't really believe those things in your heart of hearts, as you can see right now in the media, it's getting exposed. My higher self told me as I was coming down, and this is something that my higher self was telling me the day before, it's all about character and integrity and paying attention. If you can just focus on those three things, paying attention to the signs that your mind is trying to convey to you, build up your values, make sure that your values are cemented in what truly matters, and have integrity in who you are. Know who you are, because if you don't and you fall into that spider web where all of these demonic thought forms and these demonic entities are, with all this stuff that's going on, just like what Melanie was saying about the jab and all of that stuff, is to keep you vibrating so low that you'll never be able to connect with what really matters, which is the mind. And when you're connected to the mind, you realize that none of this shit really matters. The only thing that matters is that you know in your heart of hearts that you're amazing and that you're beautiful because you're powerful. And you're powerful because your soul is innocent like a baby. Yeah, I mean. And if you heed that message, my friends, you will be glad that you did. So that is the story of my first experience with psychedelics. I hope I was able to give you an insight on some things. Will I do them again? I definitely may. Not right now, but I'm definitely going to keep tapping in. But the biggest thing is learning how to access that mind without using any of that stuff. And that's something that I've been doing already. So the next time that I decide that I want to do this again, I want to make sure I have a pen and paper so I can write down these symbols and these sigils that I'm seeing in the mind, so that way I can start to use these symbols and sigils to create more abundance and more prosperity in my life. And the most beautiful thing about this trip is that the Babu Eshu showed me what he wants his Veve to look like. And since I've already created the entity and I've already created the voice of the entity that heightens my thoughts and my feelings and keeps me in a high vibrational state, anything, any type of request, any type of spell that I put this sigil on, that I put this Veve on, it's going to reach the highest vibration. It's going to reach the highest frequency, the highest divine essence that will make things happen in an instant. So all in all, I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful for this trip. It was a very interesting journey. I'm thankful for my spirit team. I'm thankful for my inner child. I'm thankful for all the spiritual teachers that blessed me with the knowledge that I know, that I was able to use that light and that knowledge to traverse through this trip. And for anybody out there who's thinking about taking psychedelics or thinking about going on this shaman type of journey, I seriously hope that you've done the work beforehand to prepare yourself. I know that I'm special in who I am and what my purpose is. So even though I didn't follow the rules, I was still protected. I was still able to come back with my mind intact, more powerful than I was before the trip. But I can't recommend y'all do what I did. I can't recommend it because not everybody is like me. I mean, I just got to say it like that. It's not an ego thing. It's just the truth. Some people are brought here to go through certain things so they can report it back to the soul family, so y'all won't have to go through those things. And that's what this was for me. So if you're thinking about doing it, I would meditate on it, talk to your spirit team, talk to your soul family, get with somebody that you trust, somebody that is high vibrational, very spiritually inclined, and don't try to make sense of what you see. Just let things flow. Let your knowledge decode what's going on, and have a pen and paper and draw as much as you can what you see, because everything is important and everything matters, because we're amazing and we're beautiful because we're powerful. Yeah, I mean? So again, if you would like a reading from me, if you would like a consultation or a link to go to my shadow work class, all of those things are at www.bandclaptv.com. Also, to watch my podcast and my rant videos and my live streams before they're on YouTube and after they're taken down from YouTube, join my Patreon at www.patreon.com/BandClapTV. And like I always say, BandClap TV, we out. And no matter what, especially in this time that we're in now, you got to stay shining. Gotta stay shining. This whole life. What's up, y'all? I hope y'all enjoyed that video, and if you stayed to the end, I appreciate you. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, I want to redirect you to my Instagram page. I don't promote my Instagram page a lot, but as my subscriber count and things like that rise due to things like shadow banning and stuff like that, I'm hearing that a lot of people aren't getting my notifications when I go live on YouTube and stuff like that. So for all things BandClap TV, my Instagram page and my story are going to have all of the notifications and things like that when it comes to when I'm going live, when I'm going, when I'm releasing videos, when I'm releasing content. Also on my Instagram page, if you're curious about my reviews for my readings and stuff like that, as you can see on my Instagram, I have a lot of different testimonials and stuff like that. For those who don't know of me as an artist, I also have videos of me performing and stuff like that. I'll be putting out more stuff like that very, very soon. So I'm just trying to get as many people right now to go ahead and follow me on Instagram. That is BandClap TV. And also my Facebook and Snapchat BandClap TV as well. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. And like I always say, no matter what, you got to stay shining.